Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. Yeah, the idea is still that we are in this wave 2 correction. Yeah, that started on the 16th of April, been coming down in this wave 2 in what we consider an A wave, a B wave and a C wave. Now it is really starting to get a bit painful here, and we are not really selling off as clean as I would like to see it. But it's possible to get one more low here and we have those 5 waves in the C wave complete. At present, that is still missing. Yeah, so we keep it simple here. So what we said before is, as long as we stay below 1847, there are 2 scenarios that we primarily observe. We are short-term bearish below that threshold, below that pivot point. And first scenario, highlighted here in yellow, is this ending diagonal, where we're looking, or it's this diagonal pattern, where we're looking for a wave 1 done, a wave 2 done, a wave 3 could be unfolding now in an A, B, C structure. I start to think this is getting quite unlikely, especially with the break of the trend line, then a 4 and a 5. And if it does more funny stuff, I will take that yellow count here off the chart. Don't like it much anyway. I like the triangle count more. And that's the other count. That's the orange one that you can actually see on the chart. The orange one is the Elliott Wave triangle, where we assume that this wave 4 never finished. In the diagonal count to the downside, we would assume the wave 4 finished, but in the triangle, wave 4 didn't finish. And we would say we're currently forming this triangle structure as an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave. And that next high here, if it forms a lower high below 1830, this could be the last high before we come down in the 5th wave. Because an Elliott wave triangle consists of 5 waves, A, B, C, D, E. And after that E wave, it could be complete. Now, be aware that a triangle never is broken. So obviously the expectation would be to break to the opposite side of the E wave. A triangle never can be counted as broken until you take out the B wave lower, which is at 1770. Until then, it can always extend. And also, it will not be invalidated officially until we break above 1847. It can always extend. So if it does that, we just have to move the subwaves. But they tell us that we have to do that and that it will extend if that happens. But for now, it could be that the E wave top, the next top here could lead to a turnaround. But at the moment, I have no indication it's stopping it because it's doing a bit of a rally. Yesterday, the idea was we come down a little lower. We hit the target, or the first target for the D wave. What was the target? You've got 2 targets basically. The first one is the 38.2 extension, which was reached here 1802. We reacted. We broke briefly, but we turned around. It's sort of the area between the 38.2 extension and the 61.8 extension. These are the levels that are relevant in these triangles. So also in the triangle, we can look at, what is the target here for the E wave? And for that, we can take the length of the C wave. Oops, no, let me just that. We take the length of the C wave, we go to the low of the D wave, and then the very first target, again, of first level to watch is the 38.2 extension at 1815. And the next one is the 61.8 extension at 1829. That's just below the, let's say, invalidation point. Yeah. Above that 1830 level, or to be exact, I think it's 1832, we will have to adjust the triangle. Yeah, but it will officially, the whole thing will only get invalidated above 1847. So to keep it simple, in both scenarios, we expect further downside, but we need a break below 1770 to confirm. In the triangle, we could still move sideways a bit, but you can see volatility is already reducing. Typically, that would indicate that very shortly we should see a spike in volatility. And yes, sure, I mean, the triangle can also break to the upside. Yeah, it's just, this is for me a valid count. But of course, it can. Therefore, we need to be watching that 1847 level. Because it could be, and that's just a different count that's possible, which is, which makes this whole thing difficult because we see 3 waves up, 3 waves down. It makes a lot of different stuff possible. This could be a W wave, X wave, and yeah, we might be just working on a smaller triangle, which would then break to the upside. And then we have a higher wave 4. So just to keep it simple, we watch the 1847 level. Against that level, we can focus on lower. Above that level, we have different options. and different scenarios will come into play because these direct downside scenarios will be invalidated. Now, that doesn't mean that downside is invalidated. It just means that we might get a larger bounce before we come down. For example, here in a larger wave 4 and then come down, or in a higher B wave. They both need to be 3 waves though, and then come down. That would take a long time. But if we see something like this, then we have 5 waves up. That would be potentially something bullish. That means we might have bottomed. And then we can wait for the 3-wave pullback to confirm. And we can look at further upside afterwards, because then this counts as a wave 1 and a wave 2. But all of these scenarios with the red lines here, they only get in the focus above 1847. Until then, we don't really need to bother with them. But they're, of course, likely options. Yeah. It's tricky. This triangle, obviously, it's a triangle. Should be a trend continuation pattern. Should break down. In most cases, they would, but they of course don't have to. Of course, they don't have to. And the move down is not clearly impulsive. I mean, you can look at this as an ending diagonal as well, but it's very choppy. So again, it's difficult at the moment. And I mean, you can never be sure where the market is going anyway, right? And however, what I like about the current situation is that it gives us a clear point where these two scenarios to the downside are invalidated, and we need to look at something possibly short-term more bullish, and that is the 1847 level. So what we can do is just focus on that, right? And yeah. Okay, so I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the additional content that we don't provide on YouTube. You can find the links for those in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.